On behalf of Boone County, Illinois, Growth Dimensions would like to thank you for joining us today to learn about the Belvidere-Boone County Enterprise Zone. This presentation will give you an overview of local and state incentives that are offered to businesses located within the Belvidere-Boone County Enterprise Zone. Illinois Enterprise Zones offer many benefits and incentives, which we will get to in just a moment. On a local level, governing bodies can provide additional incentives within their identified zone. In Boone County, we offer property tax abatements. If your property sees an increase in its equalized assessed value, also known as EAV, as a result of construction, renovations, or rehabilitations on a property within the enterprise zone, you may receive abatements on the increased value portion. Property tax abatements begin one full tax cycle after completion of a project. For instance, if the project is completed anytime in 2028, your abatement starts with your 2029 property taxes, which are payable in 2030. If you have future projects at that same site, and if the EAV increases again, then a new round of abatements may be available resulting from the new project. One item of note is that you must completely close out the Enterprise Zone project through Growth Dimensions to receive the abatement. This consists of completing a project closing form with final costs. Property taxes are abated on the municipality portions of Boone County, City of Belvidere, Village of Capron, Village of Poplar Grove, and the taxing bodies of Belvidere Township Park District, and the Belvidere Community School District Unit 100. Other taxing body portions are not abated. The Belvidere-Boone County Enterprise Zone offers 3 levels of property tax abatement schedules. The level of monetary investment and job creation determines the abatement tier received by the property owner. There are no investment or job requirements for the base level property tax abatement. The base level receives 4 years of abatements, with the first year receiving an 80% discount, the second year at 60%, the third year at 40%, and the fourth and final year at 20%. The mid-level property tax abatements requires that a minimum of $200 million be invested into a project, along with a minimum of 150 new full-time equivalent jobs created within 3 years of occupancy. The mid-level offers 10 years of abatements, with the first 5 years being 100%, 90%, 80%, 60%, and 50% respectively, with years 6 through 10 at 25%. The high-level property tax abatements requires that a minimum of $800 million be invested into a project, along with a minimum of 400 new full-time equivalent jobs created within 3 years of occupancy. High level receives 10 years of abatements, with the first 5 years at a 85% reduction and the final 5 years at 50%. If a project is estimated to meet the requirements of the mid or high level tiers, but fails to meet one or both requirements, the property tax abatement schedule will be nullified and will not be replaced by a lower tier level. Moving on, another Boone County benefit received for being located in the Enterprise Zone is 50% off building permit fees. Each municipality in Boone County recognizes this benefit. Whether you obtain your permit through Boone County, Belvidere, Poplar Grove, or Capron, you'll receive the building permit reduction fee on reduction. In order to receive the 50% discount, a signed Enterprise Zone application must first be submitted to Growth Dimensions. The application must include the business name, property address, federal ID number, unemployment ID number, if applicable, estimated project costs, the estimated project completion date, and employment numbers. Growth Dimensions will notify the appropriate municipality's building department that an application was received and the business is now eligible for the building permit discount. As mentioned earlier, there are numerous incentives that are offered by the state of Illinois. The most recognizable is the building materials sales tax exemption. This incentive provides the exemption of Illinois and local sales tax on eligible new building materials and equipment that are permanently affixed to the real property. Examples of these qualifying materials are covered on this slide. Some items that do not qualify are tools, machinery, equipment, fuel, forms, and other items that are not physically incorporated into the real estate. Also, items such as stoves, ovens, refrigerators, washing machines, lamps, and other items that operate from a building's electrical or plumbing system but are not a component of those systems do not qualify. Other examples of non-qualifying items are floor coverings that are area rugs or that are attached to the structure using two-sided tape. Property owners, contractors, subcontractors, and other entities purchasing materials for a project must complete and submit the Belvidere-Boone County Enterprise Zone application. Once received, Growth Dimensions will process the application and supply the applicant their own building material sales tax exemption form and certificate. Each organization purchasing materials are required to have their own certificate. You cannot use another business's certificate. Full transparency, retailers are not required by law to participate. The purchaser must ask the retailer for cooperation on this incentive. Retailers have, however, demonstrated good cooperation throughout the history of this program, as this incentive permits them to give customers a break without cost to themselves. Next, the Blue Collar Jobs Act is a program that supports large-scale economic development activities by providing corporate income tax credits to companies that make substantial capital investments in the state of Illinois. The Illinois taxes are based on the wages paid to construction workers employed on eligible projects. Eligible companies can receive tax credits equal to 75% of the income tax attributable to construction workers on eligible projects located in an underserved area, or 50% for projects located in other areas. The Blue Collar Jobs Act is designed to further incentivize major capital investments in communities across Illinois and to create good construction jobs. To be eligible for the tax credits, a project must make a capital investment of at least $10 million. In addition, the business must be located within a certified enterprise zone and be approved by the designated enterprise zone administrator. Growth Dimensions will work with the zone administrator on the company's behalf to obtain the certification. The next incentive we will discuss is the investment tax credit. The Illinois Income Tax Act allows corporations, trusts, estates, individuals, partners, and Subchapter S shareholders a 0.5% credit against the state income tax for investments in qualified property, which is placed in service in an enterprise zone. This credit is in addition to the existing 0.5% investment tax credit allowed statewide against the corporate personal property replacement tax. The investment tax credit applies against gross income subject to Illinois income tax and to the depreciable basis of qualified property placed in service within the zone. It is a one-time credit given in the taxable year in which the property is placed in service. If the amount of the tax credit exceeds the tax liability for that year, the excess may be carried forward and applied to the tax liability of the 5 taxable years following the excess credit year. Some examples of qualified property can be seen on this slide. Examples of non-qualifying property include land, inventories, small personal computers, trademarks, typewriters, and other small non-depreciable or intangible assets. As for the open market natural gas tax exemption, companies that are located within the boundaries of an Illinois enterprise zone are entitled to an exemption on the state sales tax for wheeled or open market natural gas transactions. In order to receive the exemption, the Form RG-61 Gas Use Tax Exemption Certificate must be completed and given to your delivery supplier. The state of Illinois also has the utility tax exemption for companies located within the enterprise zone. The Public Utilities Act and the Telecommunications Excise Tax Act allow a business enterprise to receive a 5% state tax exemption on gas, electricity, and the Illinois Commerce Commission 0.1% administrative charge and excise taxes on the act or privilege of originating or receiving telecommunications. Please note that local utility tax exemptions are not included in this exemption. To be eligible for this incentive, DCEO must certify that the business makes an investment of at least $5 million in an enterprise zone and has created a minimum of 200 full-time equivalent jobs, or makes an investment of at least $20 million in an enterprise zone and has retained a minimum of 1,000 full-time jobs in Illinois. A business must submit an application to DCEO documenting the eligible investment and that the job creation or job retention criteria have been met. Growth Dimensions is happy to assist businesses in getting this information to DCEO. For purposes of this incentive, eligible investment may be either investments in qualified property as defined in the Enterprise Zone Investment Tax Credit we spoke of on a previous slide, or non-capital and non-routine investments and associated service costs made for the basic construction, renovation, or improvement of qualified property, including productive capacity, efficiency, product quality, or competitive position. Note that regular maintenance and routine expenditures are not included. The last enterprise zone benefit we are going to go over in this presentation is the manufacturing, machinery, and equipment sales tax exemption, more simply put, MME. The Revenue Act allows a business enterprise to receive a 6.25% state sales tax exemption on all tangible property which is used or consumed within an enterprise zone in the process of manufacturing or assembly of tangible personal property for wholesale or retail sale or lease. To be eligible for this incentive, DCEO must certify that the business makes an investment of at least $5 million in an enterprise zone and has created a minimum of 200 full-time equivalent jobs, or retains a minimum of 2,000 full-time jobs in Illinois, or which retains 90% of the existing jobs. This exemption includes repair and replacement parts for machinery and equipment used primarily in the process of manufacturing or assembling tangible property, personal property for resale or retail sale or lease, and equipment, manufacturing fuels, materials and supplies for the maintenance, repair, or operation of manufacturing or assembly machinery or equipment. Tangible property for the MME sales tax exemptions include repair and replacement parts, hand tools, materials and supplies such as abrasives, acids and lubricants, protective clothing, and safety equipment, and any fuel used for machinery and equipment. As evident by the number of incentives discussed, the Enterprise Zone is a great program we are able to offer in Belvidere and Boone County to assist businesses as they expand within the county. It is also a means to spur economic growth and development by having this program to offer to potential new businesses. Should you have any additional questions, we invite you to visit the Growth Dimensions website at growthdimensions.org. You can also reach out to us at 815-547-4252 or by email at office@growthdimensions.org.